I guess they saved the best for last, right?
Yeah.
Now, I heard all these stories all day, and each story was a part of my story. So I'm sitting there wondering, what am I going to say? Because my story has been told. However, I heard of all the trauma. You said, if you look at childhood trauma, you see you didn't see me. Sexual abuse, domestic violence, neglect. You name it, I've experienced it. But I'm here to tell you my story.
Yeah, you are.
One thing I didn't hear on the stage is the effects of sexual abuse, the effects of domestic violence, the effects of neglect, the effects of the trauma and the moral injury that we suffer as women. So when you're sexually abused, what do? You don't trust. So I don't trust anyone. You don't like yourself, you hate your body because it was violated. You choose all the wrong men. Every man that you should not be with, that's the choices that we make. And that's the choices I made. So I never married. Because of the childhood trauma, I never wanted children. Because I didn't feel safe enough to be a mother. Because no one protected me. So I didn't think that I could protect a child. So therefore I don't have a child. Then I choose the wrong man, domestic violence. However, over the years, I have found that when we are traumatized, we find something that we can be successful at. And I am successful academically. I am successful professionally. However, I have poor social skills because of my mistrust, because of my lack of trust. I would sit behind there and I would want to talk to you and I wouldn't speak to you. And it's not that I don't have confidence, because if I didn't have confidence, I wouldn't be standing before you. We need to talk about the results of the trauma that we have faced. Now, I developed coping skills while being sexually abused. What did I do? I dissociated. I took myself away from the sexual abuse so I can survive. However, as an adult, dissociation is in the DSM as a mental disorder. So I use a coping mechanism to survive trauma, and now it's a diagnosis. I use depersonalization to survive as a survival mechanism, but it's a diagnosis. So how can something that helped a child to survive trauma, early childhood trauma I might add, and moral injury, and you may ask, what the hell is moral injury? Now, moral injury is the betrayal of what is right by someone in authority or yourself. That's by Dr. Jonathan Shea. And a lot of the traumatic experiences that we've had falls into moral injury because it ripped at the moral fabric of our lives. But we don't talk about that, right? So, how do you take something that helped me to survive and get into my adulthood and to today, at 53, you're going to tell me it's a mental diagnosis. Well, I am going to prove the mental health, and that's where I work in that field. I'm going to prove the mental health field wrong. Because I am going to use my depersonalization and my disassociation to continue to help me to survive onto my sunset.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I am not accepting the diagnosis because I'm not mentally ill. Those things that you are telling me that it's called a diagnosis help me to survive sexual abuse. It helped me to survive domestic violence. It helped me to survive the vicarious trauma that I've witnessed as a Guyanese child growing up in Guyana, where violence is normal. You know that when Mr. Harry comes home on Friday, he's going to beat the mother, he's going to beat the children, they're going to be screaming in the house. I've witnessed a lot of violence. I am not going to get into the details because I don't want to traumatize you and I don't want to re-traumatize myself. But I have witnessed it all. And domestic violence, I had a boyfriend who looked at me and just thought that it was fine for him to take out a gun and boom, shot at me. Now, how do you, as an adult now, you're coping, you're successful, you're working, you have all these employees working with you, and you're seeing the very things that you've experienced in your employees. Because I don't know, and I can speak for me, through my experiences, those very traumatic experiences, I have developed skills. I have developed abilities that I would not have gotten if I did not go through those traumatic experiences. And if you ask me to change my life, I will tell you no. You can give me millions of dollars. I wouldn't want to change the experiences despite it was horrific, because it has made me who I am today. And it has given me the opportunity to walk where I can lead others. Because I have a theory, I can't lead you where I have not walked. I can tell you the theoretical whatever is in the manuals and what the theory says, but the practical, I have walked there. I can tell you about what I have been through and how I have gotten through it. And one of the things is that I dissociate. I can take myself away from anything, but I'll be there physically. Now I am learning to use that to my ability. And there are times in my life where I know I need professional intervention. The journeys of healing that I've been through, I did not have the privilege and the opportunity to have counseling because I came to the US at age 34. And mental health is not a discussion in a third world country. It's not even a topic. It doesn't exist. You have to be totally schizophrenic to be and cannot function within your family to be deemed as mentally ill. So coming to the US and always wanting to be in the army, went to the US Army. Couldn't survive because I didn't know I had PTSD. So we have all these traumatic experiences that we've been through, and we are living with the affects. Dr. Peter Levine says that the body keeps the score. Every traumatic experience that we have had remains in the nervous system. Now, if you have been through trauma like me, you can imagine what our nervous system looks like. Think about that for a moment. About all the trauma that you've had, all the trauma that I have had, so it's still stored in my nervous system. Thus, cancer survivor. So I have a checklist. Sexual abuse, check, survive. Domestic violence, check, survive. Neglect, check, survive. Fallopian tube cancer, check, survive. Mental illness, check, survived. When I say I am a survivor, I am a survivor because I survived. I survived in a family of 6, of a single mother, and who was clearly had a traumatic life. And I don't know how she raised 6 children with all the trauma that she has been through. She's 85, and some of it she has never spoken of. However, I was able to talk to her about my own experiences, and she opened up a little, and then she said to me, you know what? You just made me share things with you that I've never shared in my 84 years of my life. But it's because I walked it, I've been through it, I am healed from a lot of it, but I'm still living with the effects. It's like there's some things you can get rid of, but the effects are still there. I listen to all of you, great stories, great stories, but what are the residues of those experiences? And we talk about mask. In 2013, I started a No Unmasking and Removing Your Mask Women's Empowerment Conference, and created the analogy. Now, my dissociation was a mask to help me survive the sexual abuse. My depersonalization was a mask to help me to survive. It was, there are so many coping skills that we developed. We weren't taught to survive, and they were survival mechanisms, and they became masks. Now, unmasking is a difficult task, because when you take off one mask, there is another. Because every experience that we've had, in order to cope, in order to survive, we have to create masks to survive, to get through it. And in order to remove those masks, we have to face those experiences. And many of us are not prepared to stand and look at our trauma and those traumatic experiences that has ripped our souls apart. We prefer, I have a friend who say, I am sorry, but I place mine in beautiful boxes and I wrap them with bows. And I store them in a safe place where no one can find it. And I said to her, you think no one can find it? You wear it. You wear it in your body. Some of us gain a lot of weight, and when we begin to shred the emotional and the psychological pain, we lose all the weight. We wear it in our faces despite the makeup. We wear it in the illnesses that we face, that we experience. It's trauma, the trauma that we have lived. And as women, and I'm so thankful for this opportunity, as women, we have to deal with the foundations that we have built. The foundations that were built on trauma and the foundations that have been built. My time is up. But before I go, I want to share one thing with you. In order to overcome our trauma, I created something called damper. And And the D is destroy your denial of what has happened to you. Accept your trauma, manage the pain, process that pain. Just don't manage it, process it. Examine its effects on your life and those around you, and then reverse it. And most of all, settle into your healing. Thank you.
Thank you.